Hi, thanks for joining Art and me again on Gray Matters, the little blog that we do every week, kind of aimed at people with gray hair,
You
the
think?
idea that there are things that matter to us that maybe other people don't care about, younger people, oh, those younger people. Art, you've been busy this week?
Been
You,
super busy. We had a great Mother's Day, and to everybody who may have just recently celebrated Mother's Day with loved ones. We had a wonderful get together with, there were at least three mothers there, and probably some people who will become mothers. And it was just, it was not everybody, not the extended family, but my oldest daughter's daughter who's getting married before too long, and her future in-laws were in town, and it was really nice.
oh, that's great.
What
That's great.
about
How
you?
did she feel? How did she feel about was the family putting pressure on her to have a baby and be a mother?
No, no, no. She's in her early 30s. She's a professional. She's a city planner. She's got a master's degree, and I won't name the city, although they're really proud to have her. But she's on the rise there,
Good.
and her husband is or husband to be is originally from Mexico, but he is a brilliant computer support person, and they brought him to the U.S. to support his clients all over the U.S., mostly by telephone. So
Yeah,
they're just two young professionals, and I'm sure they'll have kids when they want to have them.
that's
And
great.
she comes from a family. She's got one brother, but her father's family has like seven or eight brothers and sisters. So
Yeah,
they like kids. They'll have kids.
yeah, yeah. Well, we had a similar gathering, and everybody's terrific. And we have to be careful, I think, because the young women who are not married, we don't want to put pressure on them, right? So
Hmm.
Moth- Mother's Day is kind of a little bit of a minefield, political minefield. But we all had a great time and celebrated all the women in our lives who are wonderful mothers. And
And if I'm not mistaken, had a visit with your grandchild.
yes, and my great grandchild is there. So my great granddaughter-in-law, maybe, and her son. So
Hmm.
we had a wonderful time and multi generations. Yeah. It's interesting. No matter what we talk about, it always comes back to family. And I think both you and I, and certainly most of our viewers, family is really important. And the older you get, um, the more important it can be. Do you agree?
Absolutely, especially for us. My I have one sister, and she doesn't live. She lives about 50 miles away, and her kids now are scattered even further north in California and beyond. And we tend to get together twice a year. So between her family and my family, we're about 12 or 13 as part of the nucleus, and then
Yeah.
peripheral cousins and things like that. There's about 20 or 30. And then that doesn't count my wife's side of the family, but most of them live back east. Although
Yeah.
she's in touch with them all the time, obviously we don't get to see them as often.
Yeah. I'm big on extended family as well. I've been
Hmm.
in touch with a bunch of cousins for years. And and one of the things I love is that it can be 5 years, sometimes 10 years or more. And you pick up the phone and you still get in touch like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and that's the thing about extended family. Even sometimes your immediate family, you lose touch. My brother lives in Tennessee. We barely even haven't seen him in 20 or 30 years. And certainly we don't talk that much. So it is a good thing to keep in touch. I'm a big member of family. And if I understand correctly, um, websites like ancestry.com and others, the whole genealogy thing is the world's largest hobby. I don't know if it's the world's largest hobby or just the largest hobby in the US, but it's very, very popular. So we're
Yeah,
probably
we started with something called genealogy.com 10 years ago. And somehow I got left getting the notices every month. And some of these little kids are 50 and 60 years old now.
yeah.
So, and we still get that information because it stores it, and then every so often somebody updates something either with a birth or
Yeah.
a death or
Yeah.
something like that. So it's kind of fun, and somebody else who actually pays more attention to that stuff than I do in my family. I'm really trying to get them to pick it up because I know once they do, they'll be addicted to it. But
Yes.
then, of course, we're going to hear about every time somebody sneezes. But
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Well, families get messy. There's divorces and there's whatever, and people die, and all kinds of things happen that kind of mix it up, and you can't keep track of everybody. So it's wonderful to have those kinds of websites and um, apps that can help you keep in touch. So I love it. I recommend it to everybody.
yeah. So and I know that there was a bunch of them, like you said, Ancestry.com. There's genealogy. I think it's genealogy.com. I get a notice once a week about updates. Also, there's Finding Your Roots, I think, with, I forget the name of the professor at Princeton or someplace back east who tends to do two celebrities a week during their shooting
Oh yeah,
season.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Lisa Kudrow did a wonderful background check on people as a TV show. I don't think I think it's only in reruns now, but that's
Yeah.
all kind of good. So anyway, I think that although you and I had thought about talking about something totally different today,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to name this one "Finding Your Roots."
Finding your roots or celebrating mothers. That's where we started the conversation.
Right. So anyway,
And
but we drifted along as I guess many people do who just get together and chat from time to time, and
yeah, what
we're
one
fortunate that
last
we get together all the time.
yeah one
Yeah.
one last thought, and that is, as much as I love having our extended family, cousins and whatever, and certainly daughters-in-law and now granddaughters-in-law, um, I think every once in a while of the some of the older people that when I was a little kid I saw alone and isolated.
Hmm.
And it's still very possible that you outlive a lot of your relatives, or you just didn't have a big family, or, everybody becomes estranged.
Right.
So I think we all ought to reach out to, if you know anybody like that, reach out to them. And even if you don't invite them to dinner and Mother's Day, at
Mhm.
least reach out to them and make a friend and
Yeah,
give
that's a good
them.
point. Linda, my wife Linda's really good about this. Uh, she was the ring bearer, I think the ring bearer at her, or the flower girl at her mother's younger sister's wedding
Oh,
60 years ago, 70 years ago, whatever it was.
yeah.
She's now a widow in her 90s. Her kids are scattered. She sees them, but they're scattered. But she still lives on Long Island now in a assisted facility or in a retirement community
Yeah.
in a vertical building as opposed to spread out like in
Yeah.
Florida. But she speaks to her, I think, once a week,
Oh, that's
and
great.
they chat, and so her and can complain. First of all, she lives a pretty good life, but if she has something to complain about, she can complain to Linda, and
Yeah.
that I'm sure that's valuable to her to have somebody who
Oh,
cares
sure.
about her family, and so they speak about. I think almost weekly, and of course she's always in touch with her brother and
That's
her
good.
sister whenever. So
Yeah.
living far apart. So even if we live across the country, phones don't cost any more money now. When you're on a cell phone, it
Right.
doesn't cost any more money to call somebody in New York as it does in California or around the corner. So
You- you-
you're right, John. Keep in touch.
yeah. Keep in touch and be a friend to those people that don't have a lot of family. Yeah.
Yep, great. Okay, so anyway, um, uh, no excuses. Get in touch. Find out where people are, and let people know that you're still there. There may be two or three people who actually like you from the family. Probably doubtful, but it's possible.
For more on Celebrating Act Two, visit our webpage, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, And tell your friends, Celebrating Act Two is the user manual for the second half of your life.